You have built startup across food, tech, gaming, and now AI-driven recruitment. What gap in hiring inspired you to create NorthStars AI?
So the the main gap that we identified, today there are a lot of hiring platforms, AI-related hiring tools that are available in the market. But unfortunately, even after such advanced tool and such exhaustive screening tactics used by companies, we realized that almost 90% plus startups fail. And the failure is primarily because of lack of good human capital. The
Okay.
problem of financial capital has been addressed to quite an extent, but when it comes to hiring,
People capital.
for some time it has been such that because of the kind of industries that we service, technical fitment became the core ideology behind recruitment, which means the entire hiring community the entire hiring process got skewed towards identifying or finding and recruiting those people who can deliver tasks.
Okay.
Unfortunately, in this process, the core objective of identifying intelligent human beings got lost because it is uh, possible that a person can be good at conducting financial accounting or doing human resource screening or writing codes, but it is not uh, it is not compulsory that such a person will also display skills like critical thinking, growth
Whether it's
mindset,
good fit, cultural
active listening.
fit or not.
No, this is not cultural fit. These are the skills which are displayed by people who end up becoming your A players. These are skill sets which are displayed by people who show agency, people
Okay.
who show solving mindset, people who are proactive in contributing not just to their task and their own KRA, but beyond that, in helping the overall company meet its objective. So this is the core gap that we wanted to address. Look, one thing was very clear in the last 2 years since we've been working and AI has been developing, we understood that very soon hiring landscape will change. You will need more people with problem-solving attitude or a growth mindset kind of an attitude, active or eager to learn new things. Because the speed at which technology is changing, uh, you will need smarter people in general.
Curiosity has to be there to learn new things.
Correct. And that's exactly the gap we wanted to address. And we realized that it's not easy to address that gap because to identify such skills, there are experts, there are industrial psychologists, there are
Got
like
it.
human resource people who have gone through vigorous training to identify such skill sets in human being. And that's where we started sort of building a small behavioral language of our own, which means we have not used large language models like ChatGPT or
Okay.
Meta or any of these AIs.
How to
We
build.
built our own AI model, which we trained using data which we collected from 70, 80,000 interviews that we conducted. And then we taught the system how experts evaluate such answers in interviews. And after, being trained for over a year and a half, 2 years now almost, the system has started behaving like an
Take the
interview
results that
panel
you were
which can
expecting.
identify these skills with high accuracy. So
Okay.
that's the core differentiator that we wanted to bring.
Great, great. So you have mentioned about good screen time. So what is that belief that good screen time is important as smart timing, is smart hiring?
So, I have a daughter, young one. When I started Megamind, this was about 4 years ago, actually 4 or 5 years ago now. And I was beginning and this were COVID times, okay, during which a lot of children had a lot of spare time in their hand. And unfortunately, a lot of this time was going on screens. Uh,
For all of us.
Unfortunately, yeah, unfortunately, parents, if they wanted to control the screen time, what would the child do? There was a lot of challenge, especially in families where both husband and wife are working and they're both closed in separate rooms, working on their own tasks. What will the child do, right? And that's where we realize that, there are certain things which you can stop, certain things you can't stop. And
Okay.
screen time, हम चाहे जितना भी चाहे, we can't stop it completely because eventually the child was spending 4 hours every day on school syllabus, submitting tasks, working
Right.
on tasks. Everything was happening on screen. And after that, the child wanted to do some, entertainment-related activities. Again, the device was a screen
Screen time it comes in. Yeah.
based device, and but unfortunately, a lot of this screen time was being consumed in games which are very destructive in nature. I am not a very active believer that games like PUBG or such games be promoted for younger children. I would rather these children spend more time, even if they are playing online, play games like chess, etc., right? Or have some entertainment related activities,
Intellectual
watch it,
skills.
educational videos. And that's where we came up with gaming for children, which was interactive, which was interesting, and yet it could be uh, educational, something
Holistic game.
which did not allow external advertisements, something
Okay.
which did not allow um, the children to interact or engage with any other person with whom the parent was not connected directly.
Okay.
And that is where we defined the metaphor which we are talking about, the good screen time. And that's what we wanted to offer to our children.
I hope the parents and children both liked and they started, say, looking at your solutions, game-based education solutions.
So today, this game-based education solution is actually live in multiple international markets, where we have partnered with telecom operators, and via telecom operators, we are distributing these games to end consumers, essentially children. And yeah, I mean, people are loving what they're seeing, so we are happy.
Okay. So your platform, NorthStars AI, measure traits like critical thinking, collaboration, and identifying committed candidates. So how do you train AI to capture the soft skills?
So, it's very tough for large language model like ChatGPT to evaluate soft skills, primarily because they have been trained on data for specific activities, right? You know how LLMs are
Right.
trained, right? They gather information, they gather statistics, and based on information and statistics, they will spill out results. Hence, it is very easy for somebody like a chat GPT to solve a very complex mathematical equation, but it is not easy for chat GPT to find out whether a person can display critical thinking or whether a person can be collaborative at work, because uh, generally the questions that experts use to identify these skills, they will prompt you to make an open, I mean, these questions are open ended, which means the
And
answers
they
that you
and the
receive
same
will
question,
vary.
yes, and the same questions they ask from five different angles just to assess whether the candidate is giving the same answer or different answer every time.
Absolutely. And the answers that you will get will be different from different candidates, right? For example, if I'm trying to solve or if I'm trying to identify skill set like critical thinking by putting a salesperson, think I'm interviewing a salesperson, and that salesperson is trying to sell, let's say, any commoditized product, like, for example, any fast moving product, like, let's say, uh, a soap or a deodorant, right? Now, these are products which have highly saturated markets, and to break into these markets is very tough. Yet, we have seen so many new Indian brands like Pilgrim, etc., like Minimalist, which have come and broken the trends. I remember when I was young, it was impossible to break into an HUL or a
Whether
Colgate
HUL
Palmolive brand,
identity is operating.
right? right? But then there came people who had innovation, who had problem-solving mindset, who understood their consumer psyche, who realized that the consumer is willing to
That's the
spend
key.
more.
One who understand the consumer cycle, their needs, and around that they have created a brand.
Correct. Now, to be able to do that, you need to be able to understand a problem. You need to research on the inputs that you can gather. You need to experiment and create solutions to cater to that market. And eventually, after several iterations, you might break through. This
Correct.
capability is called, in nutshell, a critical thinking approach, problem solving attitude, because it involves researching, it involves evaluation, it involves
Correct.
experimenting, and then iterations, and finally you come to a solution. And these kind of skills cannot be evaluated by ChatGPT. So
How do
experts
your
use these
solution is
certain
solving this?
questions.
So how do your
Correct.
AI solution or your model is solving
So
this?
what we have done is very simple. We have actually we have collected a bunch of these questions which experts use globally to identify these skills. Then we created a sample market size within whom real human beings with whom we conducted these interviews. That sample size was about 70,000 interviews, 70,000 candidates. Uh, what we managed to do was we managed to collect almost 80% of answers that human beings could give for every one question. 80% of the variety we were able to capture. And then once the answers we were captured, we got teams of psychologists, HR experts, and business experts to score these answers like humans would. And then we aggregated these scores, we standardized some of these traits, we eliminated bias by providing the evaluators only with questions and answers. We do not say what caste, creed, religion, gender the person came from, so that the person did not have any human bias. And well, bias cannot be removed completely, but we want to reduce it. And then, with the help of all that aggregated scores, we trained the system that for every question that this box of questions contains, which we are going to ask candidates, you can receive these many number of answers which have been evaluated by evaluators, expert evaluators in these many different ways, and you are supposed to do exactly that. The
Hmm.
system, once it got the input and the output and um, um, the understanding or learning, it started evaluating the answers given by people in real interviews. And over a period of time, it learned and now mimics those experts who have evaluated such answers.
Okay, got it. So, in past, I have also worked in one of such product called Emo Pin. So, pin your
Mhm.
emotions. So, this is where we were collecting unbiased responses, right? Unbiased responses from users, and this is where like this was completely anonymous platform. Their identities were not revealed, and with this we are trying to capture their actual emotions, what they feel, their opinions, right, on different subject matters related to companies, related to policies, right, and giving the management the first hand idea about what is that their staff and ground feels about their product and services, or the customer feels about their products and services. What is that the area that they should look at, right? The gray areas, the areas that need their immediate attention. So I can relate to what like you guys are doing. Same kind of model we were training at our Imopin time.
Wow, nice, lovely idea.
So still that product is there live, right? If you want to look at that product, I'll be happy to share that with your team.
Sure, absolutely. Why not?
Okay. So, with your experience hiring across industries, what top skills are employers seeking in 2025?
You know, employers, I mean, I would say leaders. What are the top skills that leaders are looking for? And I think, as far as we have spoken with some of the leaders of various industries where we are working, uh, One thing that has come very explicitly is they want people with growth mindset, which means the ability to adapt, to be agile, to change, to learn new things faster, and to be able to implement those changes in real practical work environments. The example is very simple, right since AI became, very uh, general usage, became a very general usage product in the last 2 years. Within the last 2 years, we have seen AI go through so many changes. First, a basic AI was launched to which you can ask questions. Then, a different kind of smarter AI was launched, which was
Correct.
called generative AI. Then, a new kind of AI got launched, which is
Agent.
agentic AI.
Yeah.
So, uh,
So
the evolution.
how fast you can adapt, use within the organization and see the output, right? This is what I think the employers are valuing today.
Yeah, so they value the ability for anyone to learn a new skill and to be able to implement it in their day-to-day practical work environment. I think
No.
that is one of the key skills that they're looking for. The other important thing that people are looking for is articulation, beyond communication, the ability to understand and explain a
Explain.
problem clearly to their teammates so that the team is not confused, so that
Okay.
everybody understands what is the objective that has to be fulfilled, and they can together as a team collaborate and work towards the delivery of the same. And that also brings me towards the third skill, which is collaboration, right? Because without collaboration, you can't deliver large projects. So these are some of the key skills that I think
So collaboration,
leaders are seeking today.
articulation are the skills that are required always, not even in 2025. That is something we were looking
Absolutely.
previously as well, and in future also. The skills are must to have, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely
So
right.
yeah. So common red flags that signals a candidate is not a good fit, even if he has a strong technical skill. What are those?
Could you explain that once again? Could you repeat that
So
question once again?
okay. What are the common red flags you have spotted in candidates
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
signals that they may have a good fit into a particular role, but even they are technically sound, you think they may not be a good fit.
So, one of the red flags that you can one of the red flags that we often hear during interviews is when we see, or not here, when we observe in an interview, is when we see that a candidate has been working on a technology for which there are newer technologies available today,
Okay.
which can make the output of the candidate much more efficient. It can enhance the output. Yet the candidate is not displaying the effort of the behavior of putting in effort to learn it and utilize it. Now, once you are in office,
Learn
nobody
new things and
asks you.
adapt new things, utilize new thing. If it
Correct.
is
So, for
not
example,
utilized,
absolutely. So, for example, yesterday Python was the go-to language. Even today, Python is the go-to
it is.
language
Yeah.
for AI platforms. But we use a Go language, which is a language created by Google, which provides a much more robust platform. And all the people, the engineers that we hired in our company, they transitioned from Python to Go
Go.
language in a matter of weeks, which displayed very fast their ability to, deliver new stuff.
Learn new things, reskill
Correct.
themselves.
Right. The other red flag, or I would say the ability to identify how good or bad a candidate is. I'll give you two examples. One is within my own sales team. Uh, in the last 2 years, we have pivoted many times. We have changed our go-to-market approach several times, and sometimes the go-to-market approaches have been changed in as less as 3 weeks. And we have seen my team rising up to the occasion, learning the new communication, learning the new positioning for the product, understanding what needs to be pitched, and perfecting it over the next 2, 3 days so that they can go to the market as soon as possible. On the other hand, there are challenges we have noticed where people have come and probably one of the marketing even interviews I was doing, we were trying to hire a performance marketing guy early on, and one of the guys who came in front of us explained to us that how SEO is very important, and we asked that person, "What do you know about, uh, for example, SEO in the era of LLMs, where people search." Where people's go-to search is shifting from Google to AI,
Yes.
the person had
Answer engines.
absolutely no idea,
Yeah. So
right?
answer the question answer engine, question answer world we are living in.
Absolutely. So those are kind of flags which you see when you suddenly identify that, okay, this person has not put in the effort of identifying what is happening new in his or her industry. And hence, for me, that's a big red flag.
Got you. Got you. So, do projects, portfolio, and real world results outpace the degrees and certification when you shortlist candidates?
Any given day, you see all the founders today who are leading billion-dollar companies are very actively beginning to iterate on how education will look like in the next 2 to 3 years. They have already given up on today's education. They believe very strongly, and so do I, that what you are learning in school or college today is completely redundant. For example, in my daughter's school, I proactively asked them, how are you going to train my daughter to use AI in her day-to-day life? For example, in research or in
Lessons we learn.
analysis, or
Yeah.
in creating content, or creating financial discipline. How will you use? And they said these are things which are still under evaluation. And I'm talking about large international schools where our children study, and this is very, very disheartening, because by the time they will be passing out of these schools, none of these things that they're learning will be useful. Again, today, the way even MBA colleges, etc., are functioning, I remember one of my sales directors' inputs here, where he said that he was having a chat with one of his juniors in college who's doing an MBA. And when he asked the other person on what's being taught today, how much of AI is being included in the day-to-day,
Syllabus.
educational or syllabus, they were very far away from it. So I personally feel, if you really want to identify good candidates, move away from degrees and diplomas. Uh, some of the world's greatest engineers have been college dropouts. Peter Thiel, which runs the Thiel Foundation, has declared that he will pay anyone who leaves college and starts his own work, and so do so many other founders that I know of. So I personally think that what a person can display in terms of the projects he has done,
His work.
how much effort he or she has put in updating himself or herself, or
Right.
making themselves ready for today's job, is what
Right.
actually should be taken into consideration.
Right. Slowly, top 20 B schools have started adopting, but this is where people like us, Amquest Education, comes in, help people get real world skills so that they can showcase these portfolios, their real work, right, to employers like you who value them more
Interesting.
than just the degree. Okay. So, what unique hiring challenges do startup face compared to large corporates?
So, one of the basic problems that we are solving, actually, that is the problem statement that we want to solve. Startups, SMBs, where there are lean teams, a single HR person who has been hired with the objective of recruiting, but today is managing payrolls, fun Fridays, employee questions around, CTC, has no time left for spending on recruitment. Even earlier, before an HR person is hired, founders who have company sizes of up to, let's say, 50, 60, 70 people company, and they're beginning to think of hiring. Imagine it's very tough for them to recruit anyone. Why? I'll tell you, there are two challenges. First is they are very, very quality conscious. A startup founder who's just beginning
Yes.
to grow understands the importance of human intelligence. And that is where they start spending a lot of time in the entire recruitment process themselves. I have done that,
Everybody, we
Unfortunately,
also
we
do
don't
this.
have,
Yeah.
yeah, we don't have any other option. I mean, there is so much time spent on analyzing candidates, on uh, identifying or making a data-driven decision, or finding, what should we do next to assess a candidate's particular trait or particular skill set. It's very difficult. The typical hiring time in startups is about 60 days, within which most good candidates get other offers. The second trouble is today, startups, SMBs, they have to jump between multiple tools. You have to go to LinkedIn or Naukri or Indeed to look for candidates. You have to go to another tool to create a job description. You have to go to LinkedIn or other job boards to publish the job. Then you have to sit and screen resumes manually. Then you
Then
will have to go
call
and start making these calls, or send out emails or
email.
communicate on WhatsApp. Then you will have to manage internal human interactions, scheduling, collecting feedbacks from the hiring managers,
Correct.
creating the job offer proposal, candidate dropouts. This is a very, very complex and broken process. What we are doing is essentially changing the way this game is played. We are going to offer uh, different AI agents which will manage sourcing, which will manage screening, which will manage candidate engagement and recruitment marketing, and which
Okay.
will manage scheduling and onboarding. And together, these guys will work in tandem with each other in partnership with the human recruiter, so that all the manual laborious tasks are outsourced
Kind
to
of
them.
solution.
Absolutely. And this will effectively cut down manual efforts by almost 80%. It will help you identify the top candidates in a matter of, days instead of hours, instead of spending months on finding one right candidate.
Got you. Got you. So, as you mentioned, AI can cut hiring time by 60%. That sound massive,
Correct.
right? Could you share a real world success story?
Yeah, so for example, we recently helped Mahindra Logistics, one of our customers,
Okay.
conduct their campus hiring for 2025. So the CHRO for Mahindra, Mr. Sanjay Gaude, tasked us to help them hire. They needed to hire around 200, approximately 250 to 300 candidates, for which they had reached out to almost 30 to 40 campuses in tier 2, tier 3 cities in India. Mahindra Logistics was able to conduct more than 3,000 interviews
Okay.
in 21 days and roll out 270 plus offers without a single visit from any of the recruitment team to any of these campuses.
Okay.
And this was amazing for them because of two reasons. A, because of the speed at which it happened. They were running multiple interview schedules at multiple campuses simultaneously.
So,
And B, because even before their competitors started planning on how they will go, when they will go, and how they will conduct physical interviews and hire, their recruitment was finished, which means they already got their pick of the top candidates from
got
the campuses. So, yeah, amazing case study there.
scale and reach both they got from your solution.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, advice you would give to students or early career professionals?
I think, unfortunately, colleges today are not focusing on these employability skills that we say, or human centric skills. That is what soft skills are called today. Uh, During our times, also, we remember there were these finishing classes that were conducted before we were being sent off to take interviews and all. Unfortunately, what candidates need to understand is recruiters or hiring managers are not directly going to question them a lot on their technical background in the initial interviews. What they want to see is what is the attitude of the candidate. They want to see again, going back to the same skills that I've been talking, they want to see what is the growth mindset this candidate displays because they know whatever you learn, the moment you join my organization, I'll have to train you from scratch. My next 6 months is an investment in each candidate. That's what companies understand. So, being better prepared to be able to secure a better conversation, which would land them with better job offers, multiple job offers from where they can select. All this happens only if they train on these specific skills, and just for their benefit, I would rate these skills. I would call these skills as critical thinking, growth mindset, active listening, communication and articulation, and collaboration or teamwork. These are the skills they should learn about. They should understand how to do or how to prepare. And for this, in fact, we have a free for use platform called www.interviewvision.com, which we have made free for young candidates, early career professionals. They can go, they can take an AI interview, they can experience how the AI interview will happen for them in the near future. They will get a scorecard of their skill sets on these parameters. And they will even get access to about 60, 70 free videos that we have created for them so that they can prepare better to appear more prepared in their final interviews. That's what I would suggest.
I think my listeners or people listening this podcast will use your platform and get their scorecards. And as you rightly mentioned, the soft skills should not be just few classes before the placement season start. It should be integral part of any curriculum. And we
Correct.
believe in that. Amquest believes in that. And if you check our courses, soft skills starts from day one. Soft skills training starts from day one, along with your technical.
Brilliant. That's very good.
So, Avinash, this has been so powerful conversation today. Hearing you how you are reshaping the future of hiring with AI gives us a glimpse of what's possible when entrepreneurship meets purpose. Thank you for joining us and for leaving our listener with so much inspiration. And obviously, our listeners can go use the interview platform that your company and you have made it for them and made it free for them and get their report cards. Thank you once again, Avinash, for your time.